In this video this morning, I'd like to cover a summary of the significant tax law changes of the Build Back Better Act. This is as passed by the House. It's currently under Senate consideration. It's not law yet, but I think for the most part that the tax provisions will stay pretty well the same. So let's just take a look at them. I've been on the road the last several weeks doing tax updates for tax professionals, and so it's been kind of good being on the road as the legislation has moved forward, and I'm getting kind of feedback, and the taxpayers want to know, one, what's the benefit? I covered that in another video, but what we want to know is how are we going to pay for this over the next 10 years? So this is kind of a summary. First, we have what we call the net investment income tax. It's a surcharge of 3.8 on income over certain levels, those being like 400,000 for singles, 500 married filing joint, and 250 for married filing separate. So very high income levels. The big change here though is the flow through entities. Income, what we mean by that? I used a jargon word. It's if you got an S corporation or a partnership or an LLC partnership or an LLC S corp. So this applies again, S corps, partnerships, LLCs, those flow through entities, is the fact that the 3.8 will also apply to them, and it has not in the past. This would be effective January 1st of 2022 if the legislation passes. The next area I want to look at is what we call a surcharge tax. And the surcharge tax would be 5% on AGI over 10 million, 3% on AGI over 25 million. So really those high income taxpayers. This would also be effective January 1st, 2022. Our next one would be on section 1202. There's an exclusion if you hold certain small business stock on capital gains. There's one at 75%, one at 100%. And what they're looking at is either eliminating or reducing that to 50%. This would be actually retroactive to September 13th of 2021. But again, we're looking at the exclusion of a gain from sale of qualified stock from small business. Then I want to move to the next item, and that's really dealing with what we call crypto assets. And what we're seeing in the crypto assets is that under the infrastructure bill that just passed earlier this year, we had now cryptocurrency transactions are going to be reported by the broker just on a 1099-B. Well, the change here is wash sale rules are going to apply to cryptocurrency. And what that means, if you sell and within 30 days you buy back and it's the same currency, what happens is you don't get that loss, just like you would in a normal stock market of today. And I think that'll have a major impact if that does happen, because you don't get to take your losses in many cases, because in cryptocurrency, the transactions are very quick a lot of times. Either people hold for a long time or they buy and sell, they buy and sell. So that's a big one. It'll go into effect January 1st of 2022. Now, the last one I want to cover is partly of a debate in the bill in the Senate right now, and that is what we call the SALT deduction, and that stands for state and local tax deduction on Schedule A itemized deduction. Currently, since 2017, that's been capped at $10,000. In this legislation, that would be moved and capped at $80,000. Now, I have to stop and think. I'm a practitioner, and I know most people listening are taxpayers, but that's a very, very large number. And for that one, this one is the one I think could change, because in the Senate, the debate is the child tax credit and on one end, and on the other is this SALT taxes is too large. But this kind of gives a recap, and I think most importantly for most of us, you and I, you can see that how they're trying to fund this Build Back Better Act is probably not going to impact most of us. So in summary, you can see these are the major, I think I had 5 changes here. I hope this helps, and maybe this will help relieve the pain as if my tax is going to get higher. And the one thing that's not in this legislation was the capital gains. It was left alone. So I think that's probably the most common question I get. What's the capital gains? It's not here. And for all of us, not so high income people, it's good news. Take care. I want to see you on another video and have a great day.